Good morning, nice to see you as we begin yet another 3+You today. We're going to begin the show with some cheer because Charlotte Mabry is on the show. For one thing, Charlotte always comes on wearing a happy color. Did you know that about yourself?
I do. I'm a happy person, so you got to have it's the Queen of England, right? She's a great role model.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Well, you always have good topics.
I think I'm the queen, right?
No, so, that's not what you think at all. You always have really good topics because whenever Charlotte's here, she'll talk real estate, of course, but you try to take a look at what you're kind of seeing in the office, what you're hearing from phone calls that you get in, and let your time with us be educational for people. So this morning, you want to focus on real estate investment, right?
Correct. There are a lot of people asking about that today and interest in that, and it's a great tool. Many times people think that flipping a house is real estate investing, and while you do make money that way, it's not necessarily investing in real estate or growing an asset for yourself for the long term. And so flipping is great. It's a great way to make money. You buy a property, you fix it up, and you flip it back out there and sell it. Mm-hmm. But basically you're creating a job for yourself. You're not necessarily investing for the long term. And so real estate is a great tool to grow your wealth and grow your portfolio. And there are different ways to invest for the long term. Maybe you buy a property and you hold it for the long term as maybe long-term rentals or even a short-term rental. That's an opportunity as well. Mm-hmm. Our city here has made some different rules and changes on short-term rentals, so those are things to think about. I'm opening a huge can of worms of opportunities to talk about here. But there are a lot of different ways, whether it's single-family homes or buying apartment buildings, multifamily properties. There are a lot of ways to invest in real estate to grow your wealth for the future.
What if, because there's a philosophy that you kind of have to have if you're going to be a landlord, so to speak, and not everybody has the mindset for that.
Sure.
What if you don't want to buy some land and just hold it?
You absolutely can, and that is a great tool. I just came back from a trip out west and driving through Nebraska. One of the largest landholders in Nebraska is Bill Gates. Mm-hmm. Well, there's got to be a reason for that, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is an investment for the long term. I think you have to look at if you're wanting your money to return all it can for you, is buying and just holding a piece of land going to provide that for you? Now, if you can farm on that land or lease it out to hunters, or maybe do a crop on that land or raise cattle on that land and get money that way, that might be getting, while you hold that land for the future, that might be getting a little better return than just holding the land, period.
Okay, so that was kind of part B of your desire this morning, was to say, first of all, consider investing.
Correct.
But then once you do have the investment, how do you use that to your advantage? You're not a big believer in staying stagnant.
Well, again, if we're going to do something, let's do it right and do the best we can with it. So let's say that you're one of the people today. There are a lot of what we call mom and pop investors out there, and that's not a negative term. I think that's a positive term. Everyone should have that opportunity, at least give it a shot. But there are a lot of ways that you can assist and grow your relationship with your client, who's your tenant, do a favor for them, but yet make yourself some extra money along the way. Many of our tenants don't have the ability to mow their lawn and take care of things, whether it's they don't have the equipment or they don't have the time. Mm-hmm. And so there's some extra ways to maybe grow your income from your property by offering those services of mowing or landscaping or housekeeping and all those things that maybe you can subcontract out and give those opportunities there for your tenant, all while making a little extra money.
And maintaining your property.
And maintaining your property as well. There are other things that you can do, like many times storage is an issue. You can tell by all the storage facilities for rent around town. If you've got the ability to maybe add some sort of storage capacity, a garage or something like that to your property, that's a great way to charge a little extra rent and provide a service of storage for your tenant there. If you've got a property that maybe has a carport and you can turn that into a full-blown garage, that's an additional savings. There are people that rent out their parking spaces for events that happen around them. I know we are blessed in Chattanooga to have opportunities where events are here, and that's a way to make some extra money as well, as rent out your parking around your space. Maybe even if your tenants don't need that parking, you could rent it to others. Perhaps you own property near the university or something like that. So there are a lot of creative ways to add value.
If you're trying to look long-term versus short-term immediate, this is kind of a loaded question, I guess. But if you do have a house that you rent or an apartment that you're renting, do you advise the owner to be careful of price gouging?
I think you should always be careful of that. There is that sweet spot, that fine line between making all the money you can and still keeping your tenant happy. And so you play with that. In the market as we have right now, there's that opportunity, I guess, to step up to that line or even step across it, because there's so little available to rent. And we're beginning to see prices get so high that people struggle with renting, especially single family homes.
And it's far better if you have a reliable tenant
For sure.
that you can keep for 2 or 3 years, that you have a good relationship with. If you lose a couple of $100 a month to keep the tenant, that would be a good thing.
I think it could be a good thing. Some of that is offset as well by the tax advantages that you potentially can have as a real estate investor. And I don't play a tax person on TV. That's not me. I'm not the tax person. But check into that, because as a real estate professional per the tax code, there's a lot of tax advantages for you that maybe would offset some of that and save you a little money there.
So if they are looking to buy some essentially commercial property in a way, can they contact your office?
Absolutely. We not only own that ourselves, we work with a lot of clients from all different states that are looking for opportunities to invest here. And so for our folks that live here all the time and have been here all the time, they should be thinking, hey, how can I take advantage of this as well?
Well, her real name is Charlotte Mabry. Today we'll call her the Queen of England because she wears her bright colors. But you can find her at the Charlotte Mabry team on North Access Road, 593-5588, and online at charlottemabryteam.com. Thank you.
Thank you.